Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicolas Richardson and this is the news. The latest delivery of COVID-19 vaccines was much smaller than the amount expected, said Michał Dworczyk, the government's commissioner for the country's vaccination strategy. Previously, Pfizer had shipped a batch of 360,000 doses, but this Monday, only half that number of doses were received. Pfizer has announced temporary cuts to vaccine supplies in Europe in order to boost its annual production capacity to 2 billion doses from the earlier planned 1.3 billion. However, in order to achieve this goal, Pfizer will have to upgrade its production lines, which will involve a temporary reduction in production volumes. We are doing everything we can to keep up the momentum of the vaccination programme, but Pfizer produced the updated delivery timetable only last night. We are working on the document now and trying to fit this to the schedule of our national vaccination programme. Today the plane landed ferrying cargo with a very limited amount of vaccines compared to earlier orders. How many vaccines arrived in Poland today? We will know it as soon as we count them in the Material Reserve Agency. Judging by the number of boxes, there are about half as much as in previous shipments. We previously ordered 360,000 vaccines, and now there is half that number. Dworczyk gave assurances that everyone who received the first dose of the vaccine will also receive the second one, and the mass vaccination operation for senior citizens will definitely be launched as planned on 25th of January. Unfortunately, the vaccination of medical staff will be below the levels expected earlier. According to the Ministry of Health, the number of confirmed coronavirus infections has grown in Poland by 3,271 new cases, reaching a total of 1,438,914. Another 52 people have died, bringing the COVID death toll to 33,407. COVID-19 vaccines have been administered to over 468,900 Poles. With the 3,271 new cases, the total number of infections has reached 1,438,914. 15,716 new patients have been admitted to hospital and 170,044 are under quarantine. 1,187,719 people have recovered. Schools are reopened after the winter break. While most schools are operating online, students of primary grades from 1 to 3 have returned to their classes under the sanitary regime. The Minister of Education and Science developed the guidelines for schools to follow. This is the moment the students have been waiting for over 2 months. I miss my friends the most, my girlfriend. Running in the corridor, friend. We couldn't leave the house and now at least we can go to school. There is joy and euphoria among the youngest because after many weeks of distance learning, grades 1 to 3 have returned to school. So not only teachers and parents are happy. The children are very happy. They are very pleased. One can see that they dreamt of returning to school and are very excited now. School principals are keeping their finger on the pulse and closely monitoring the situation, airing the classrooms, disinfecting, masks in corridors and keeping distance are essential. We want to keep safe the teachers and the children's families. Anything can happen since the enemy we fight is invisible. The fight against the epidemic has been continuing for almost a year now, and students cannot fall behind at school. Nothing has changed. The exams will be on the same date as previously assumed. Teachers are doing their best to meet the programme. We managed to organise the 8th grade exam last year under the sanitary regime, so this year we will also do it, I hope. Apparently, children are happy. Now they can finally learn outside the virtual reality. I really like that I can meet my friend. And I can ask the teacher about everything. I can always play with my friends. I can learn something. Did you like the online lessons by computer? Not at all. It is uncertain whether normal schooling is back for good. It is the principal who decides about the mode of study in each school. It is in the interests of all of us to vaccinate teachers, especially senior teachers, who are most at risk. We return to the story about a Polish national dying in a British hospital after being denied food and water. At the request of President Andrzej Duda, Krzysztof Szczerski, the Secretary of State in his office, will today meet the British ambassador. The Pole concerned has been in a coma since November after suffering a cardiac arrest. His family strives to save him. The hospital told us that he would die soon. He's without water for 4 days. This is more sad news that has struck down the Polish family today. one of their loved ones dying for another day in a hospital in Plymouth in the United Kingdom. On the one hand, we feel helplessness. On the other, we're angry that a person in need of rehabilitation is simply left to die of hunger and thirst. Virtually all options are exhausted. Krzysztof Szczerski, the minister from the Chancellery of the President of Poland, announced he is about to meet the British ambassador. In Poland, both scientists and media appeal for the life of the Pole to be saved. We, the undersigned representatives of the creative, scientific and media communities in Poland, would like to appeal for the handing over to our country of our compatriot who is in Great Britain after suffering brain damage. Among the people who joined the appeal are Professor Zdzisław Krasnodębski and Professor Andrzej Nowak. At the moment, there are several hundred people on the list. The initiator of the action emphasised the importance of this dramatic fight. He was sentenced to death, that is, starvation. It seems quite obvious that since there is a chance for him to live, it seems obvious to do whatever it takes to take advantage of that chance. Experts emphasise that the action of the British hospital contradicts any humanism known to Latin civilization. It is a humanism not only anti-human, but radically demeaned, descending even below the animal level. In a dramatic and drastic way, this shows in what kind of world we live. A British court began hearing an application for permission to admit the ambassador of the Republic of Poland to the dying person. It is no longer the hours that count in the whole affair, for there are only minutes to restore at least the possibility of nutrition and hydration to keep him alive. New social media applications are popping up in response to the censorship by mainstream outlets. One such, albicla.com, will launch this Wednesday. The name of the new portal comes from the Latin words Acia alba, meaning a white eagle. Registration starts on Tuesday the 19th of January. Polish winter returned in its traditional form, at least for a few days. Thermometers in Warsaw fell below freezing to -20 Celsius. The Institute of Meteorology and Water Management warned against severe frosts across most of the country. The snow and freezing temperatures affected the railways too. Freezing weather made the situation on the railways very difficult. Many trains were running late and every second one was delayed by more than an hour. This morning dozens of services were cancelled. According to Polish state railways, the punctuality of departures of trains fell to barely 50% of normal and arrivals to 59%. The last time similar delays were noted was at the turn of February and March in 2018, when the freezing weather continued for almost 2 weeks. At the time, freezing air mass reached as far as the United Kingdom, paralysing Heathrow and halting construction work. British media call the phenomenon the beast from the east. However, for Poles, the mighty beast is just a normal winter, like many in the past. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.